Yo, what up, everybody? This is another episode, another quarantine edition of Spectator Sporting. We talking about the Chicago Bears. We doing a Bears preview. We got two guests in the building that help us do this. We got my main man, number 7, Dante. What's going on, Dante?
Yo, glad to be back again.
Yes. And we got my other main man, Mr. Boone Apata. What's cracking, homie?
Yo, what's good, man? How's everything going?
Hey, everything's good, man. And then we got the architect in the building, Mr. Adewale. What's happening, bro?
Hey, man, ready to just bear down. Bear season time, man.
Bear down. Hey, make sure y'all go on Spectator Sporting YouTube page. We just put up the AFC preview, the NFC previews up there. So go ahead and check it out and make sure you comment. If you got questions or if you want to argue with us, we are here. We are ready. Let's get it. Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky? So I'm going to start with you, number 7, Dante. Who should be the Bears starting quarterback, Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky?
I think that Trubisky should be the quarterback, and I'm gonna say my reasons why. So, you got to get his man a little bit more of a chance. I think they kind of knew he was going to be a little bit of a project when they drafted him, because he only started 1 year at North Carolina. So now he's had a few years under his belt. And then he's got somebody, and in those years that he was here, he didn't really have anybody to push him. It was pretty much his job, no matter what. But now going into this year, he's got somebody to push him, so he's going to take everything a little more seriously. He should have pretty much no excuses. But I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit more. The games that he plays when he runs the football and doesn't think as much, Trubisky has really good games. It's almost like that. It's almost like that basketball scorer, that's struggling a little bit. He makes a couple free throws, and that's all he needs to see himself get going. So just like with Trubisky, when he scrambles a little bit, doesn't think as much, and just reacts, he has really good games. I want to go back to a game last year. When they played Dallas and we won 23-31, Trubisky, he threw for he was 23 for 31 passing for 244 yards with a 74 completion rate. But during that game, he had 10 rushing attempts, and in those 10 rushing attempts, he had 63 yards and a touchdown. So he threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for a touchdown. So kind of similar to what he was doing in 2018. When he wasn't really thinking as much and was just letting everything flow, that was when he excelled. So I like Foles, but Foles really hasn't been the same since he won that Super Bowl. He's been injury prone, having issues with his clavicle. So I think going into the first game, we need to let Trubisky go ahead and go in there, and I think it's his job to lose.
I feel you on that. Boom. Same question. Who should be the Bears starting quarterback, Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky?
You know what? That's a real difficult question because it really depends on Matt Nagy. I think in Matt Nagy's scheme, he's being real stubborn. Mitch is a better quarterback because of the running tangible that he has, just like Dante said. And Dante said it best. In 2018, Mitch ran for 23 first downs, 23 first downs on third down. All right. And then going into the next year, in 2019, Matt Nagy didn't want him to run the ball. And he looked at a whole lot worse in 2019. So if Matt Nagy supposed to be an offensive coordinator, he's supposed to cater your offensive play calling based off the personnel you have. But he's trying to put a round circle in a square peg with Mitch Trubisky. So if he's just stuck on his offense that he loves so much, the Kansas City Chiefs offense, the Philadelphia Eagles offense, then, Foles just play. If you cannot adjust your so-called great offensive coordinator mind to the players you have, then, of course, Mitch is a better quarterback overall. But if it's in this Matt Nagy scheme that he's not adjusting to, then Nick Foles can run a Matt Nagy scheme better. So I just hope that, the coach understands, what he got. I wish they never picked up Nick Foles. It would have forced Matt Nagy to adjust his scheme and his offensive play calling to the quarterback. But we'll see what he do. But I go with Mr. Trubisky as long as he had the manhood to play his game and not try to bend his will to Matt Nagy's scheme. Just play your game, man. If you want to run, if you ain't nothing open, man. He ran for 23 first downs with your legs 2018. That's the reason why they kept the defense off the field, kept them fresh. You know, they was getting turnovers. So I think he got to do his game. But he's trying to fit Matt Nagy's scheme, and it's just not a gut fit. So I'll go with Mitch, though, the bottom line.
I ain't mad at that. You bring up a really good point. The key, more than the quarterbacks, is what kind of game plan Matt Nagy is going to call. Adi Wally, who should be the Bears starting quarterback, Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky?
I think Trubisky should be the week 1 starter because Nick Foles has been trusted as the day 1 starter, week 1 starter 3 times in his career, and he failed all 3 times, all right? In 2014, he started for the Philadelphia Eagles week 1 and ended up breaking his left clavicle bone in around week 9 or week 10. And then in 2015, he was a starter for the Rams and then ended up getting benched for Case Keenum in week 10. And then last season with the Jacksonville Jaguars in week 1, he broke his left clavicle bone again and was out for many games, okay? Nick Foles should come off the bench just like he did in 2013 when he came in for Mike Vick. In week 5, he ended up throwing 27 touchdown passes, only 2 interceptions, and made the Pro Bowl that season. And then in 2017, when he came in for injured Carson Wentz, he ended up being a Super Bowl MVP. In 2018, he came in for injured Carson Wentz again late in the season, and then came to Chicago against that 2018 Bears ferocious defense, had that 12-play, 60-yard drive, game-winning drive in Chicago, then went to New Orleans and almost upset the Saints if Alshon Jeffrey would have caught the ball in the red zone. He dropped it. Okay, they was down 6 points, 2 minutes to go in the game in the fourth quarter. So Nick Foles can get hot off the bench. He should come off the bench. Mitchell Trubisky, the man, the Bears just declined his 5th-year option. They declined it. He would be a free agent in 2021. He is auditioning for a starting quarterback contract next season. Now, Mitchell Trubisky, he's average at best in reading defenses. His intermediate to deep passes are off target usually, okay? His deep passes usually off target. And so I just think this is the last chance for Mitch Trubisky to show that he can start in this league. This is his last chance to show that he can start for any team for years to come. If he don't show up this year, he's going to be on the bench for the next 2-3 seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with all 3 of y'all. I think Mitch should be the starter, but my thing would be Mitch is going to have a very, very short leash. The minute he starts overthrowing receivers by 75 yards, Nick Foles getting the game. Like, we can't have that this year. But I also go to the point that Boone made. Coach, the game plan is going to be so critical this season. What is Matt Nagy going to do? Like, he put Mitch had a rough season last year, we all know, but he also put Mitch in some very tough situations. I mean, they lost 10-3 game 1 against the Green Packers, and I want to say Mitch threw the ball 53 times like they was down by 30 points. What are you doing, Nagy? So the key is the game plan. How is he going to call the game? Is he going to focus more on the run? Is he going to call more runs for Mr. Trubisky? Quarterback sneaks, keepers, rollout passes. So I think, to me, who the starter's going to be is the way Nagy going to play it, and that's what Boone made a great point about that. So we shall see. But the Bears is not a perfect team by any stretch. We all know that the quarterback is a very, very position that's the most important position. But it's other needs on the Bears. So, Adi, tell me this. What, besides quarterback, what position concerns you the most about the Chicago Bears?
Well, you know what? The Bears finally got Akeem Hicks back, but then we lose nose tackle Eddie Goldman to the COVID-19 opt-out situation. He's out for the season for the COVID-19 opt-out option. And so that's very concerning, man, because his replacement, who's his replacement? You got the 7-year vet, John Jenkins, who was a rookie in 2013 with the New Orleans Saints. He had his best season of his career in 2015 in New Orleans when he had 49 tackles and he had 2 quarterback hits that year. And then from 2016 to 2018, he bounced around the league, Seattle, Chicago, the New York Giants. But last season, he did have a little bounce back year with the Miami Dolphins. The man, he had 34 tackles and two tackles for loss that year. But Eddie Goldman, he led the Bears defensive line in tackles for loss, and sacks last season. The Bears defensive coordinator, Chuck Pagano, he gonna have to replace Eddie Goldman by committee. All right, you're gonna have to replace him by committee. You got my man Bilal Nichols. He was number 2 on the Bears defensive line in tackles. You also got Roy Robertson Harris. He's 6'5", 295. He's gonna have to slide in the middle. You got Brett Urban. He's a rotational player to give some guys a rest. And also Akeem Hicks. He's back. The man was made the Pro Bowl in 2018 as a 3-4 defensive end. He's going to slide inside. He's big. He's big as hell. He can do it. But the thing is, Eddie Goldman is very underrated. Here's how underrated the man is. The Bears was number 4 in the NFL last season in rushing yards allowed per attempt, okay? Per rush attempt, okay? The run defense was stuffing people because of Eddie Goldman. We lost him. I'm very concerned about that. We'll see how the guys pick it up.
Absolutely. That is a big loss right there. Eddie Goldman is the anchor of that line. No question about it. Dante, besides the quarterback position, what is the position that concerns you the most besides the quarterback?
Well, besides the quarterback, I actually had 2 main concerns pretty much. Adi Wadi hit on one of them, so I won't really elaborate too much on that one. So, the whole situation with Goldman is going to hurt us a lot in the interior. So, I mean, pretty much like he was saying, we're going to have to be defensive tackle, nose guard by committee, just rotating those guys in and out. Goldman is a guy who can play 1 through 3 downs where you don't really have to worry about him and worry about who you're going to get in there. But my second biggest concern is the running back position. Montgomery right now actually has a groin injury, so it's like, who do you bring in to replace him? We got Cohen, who we all know is more of a third down back, who's gonna just come in and catch screen passes and everything like that. I think, like Adi said before in another cast we had, they must got a lot of expectations for Montgomery. They must got a lot of trust in Montgomery, because it seems like this offseason they really haven't done a lot to fulfill that need, even though he didn't really have a really good rushing average per carry last year. And one last thing with that, one guy that we could have got that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers picked up was Fournette from the Jaguars. I feel like that would have been a guy that we could have picked up that would have been perfect right when Montgomery being hurt. With him, Montgomery, and Cohen, that could have been a nice little triple-headed monster that we could have had. So, defensive tackle and running back would be my 2 biggest concerns.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. I thought the Bears should have went after Leonard Fournette. I thought that would have been a good pickup for him. No question about it. Boom. What position concerns you the most besides the quarterback position?
Okay, just in reply to Adi, Bilal Nichols, they said he's going to start over John Jenkins, and they got the other guy,
Roy Robertson Harris.
He's going to be the backup. They said Bilal Nichols having a great camp. And then with Dante, the dude Patterson, man, he's getting all his reps at running back. I know, he's just a Swiss Army knife. But yeah, New England used him at running back exclusively. I mean, maybe the Bears can get lucky. So he getting all his reps at running back. But for me, I'm going to see y'all guys pick somebody based off a real concern, a need, a lack of depth. My thing is just a concern of mine personally. And I would go with outside linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Outside linebacker is a concern of mine. Number 1, one and foremost, Khalil Mack. He dropped off in production to 8.5 sacks. And, he's working out. They say he's being a beast in the offseason. I just want him to be the Khalil Mack that he was with the Raiders season in and season out. He didn't have no help with the Raiders, but he was still getting double-digit sacks. He was still Khalil Mack. So we can't blame that fact that he didn't have any help, the reason why he fell off. He established himself as a player to do it by himself in that front seven. And I'm also just concerned with the outside linebacker because I want to see Quinn come in here and be Quinn. I'm concerned that he was a one-year wonder. I know he was good with the Rams, and then he kind of fell off with the Rams, and then he went to Dallas and had 11 sacks. I'm concerned whether he can keep that up again. And then, we dropped Leonard Floyd. I just don't want him to – I think he with the Rams. I'm concerned he's going to take off with the Rams. I'm not concerned. I don't think he's going to do that, to be honest. But, so I'm just concerned with the outside linebacker. It's supposed to be a position of strength, and I'm concerned that it won't be what it's supposed to be.
I got a reply to Boone talking about Robert Quinn is a one-hit wonder and all that. He's not a one-hit wonder. The man had at least 8.5 sacks 5 times in his career in a season. He had at least double-digit sacks at least 4 times in his career in a season. Last year, he had the man Lawrence with the Cowboys. He's a Pro Bowl player. He was the opposite of him. And I'm going to tell you his stats. He had 11.5 sacks, and he had 13 tackles for loss. The man is not a one-hit wonder.
No. Excuse my grammar. Excuse me. I didn't mean one-hit wonder. He was good when he first got in the league, like his first, 3 or 4 years in the league with the Rams. Then he kind of tapered off a little bit. That's why the Rams let him go. He was a beast when he first was with the Rams for his first 4 years. Then he tapered off, and that's why they let him go. He went to Dallas, and he had it was a contract year. He took off again. I just want him to be up and down like a roller coaster. I want to see him just be steady at good. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say one-year wonder, but he tapered off for some reason. Maybe it was injury with the Rams, and he went back crazy beast mode with the Cowboys. I want him to. I'm concerned would he keep it up?
I hear you. I disagree with you on that one, but I think the outside linebacker is probably the best position we got on the Chicago Bears right now. Khalil Mack, don't get me wrong, he is a beast, and I get what you said. 8.5 sacks is a down year for him, but I couldn't. When the man is getting quadruple teamed and the whole team is geared to block him, and the opposite side linebacker, Leonard Floyd, cannot win a one-on-one matchup, I don't give a damn how good you are, how strong you are not going to be able to overcome that thing. And that's just a fact of the matter right there.
I don't know. Who else was on the Raiders team with Khalil Mack? Khalil Mack was the Raiders defense by himself, and the man produced. All right? So you go to the Bears. Come on, you got a good secondary. You had a couple of, middle linebackers. You weren't by yourself. You went down to 8. That was his worst production of his career, except for his rookie year. So I'm just saying, man, you're supposed to be Khalil Mack. You're supposed to be able to do it. We gave up a lot for him. You can't blame the other outside linebacker and Leonard Floyd. You're supposed to be able to be Khalil Mack. I'm concerned would he be like the super duper. He's supposed to be able to do it by himself. That's all I'm saying, man. That's,
I'll just say this, Boone. One of the best things, I'll tell you when you got a superstar on your team, when they attract 3 to 4 people to block him every time they try to pass rush, that's where you got a superstar. And that's what really makes it the Bears' lack of sacks last year puzzling, because everybody had one-on-one matchups last year, and they could not win except for Khalil Mack. So we'll see. I get what you're saying, because 8.5 is a low number for him, and we need him to be up in between 12 and up. So that's what we need production out of him. So we shall see.
We'll see. He had his one-on-one. Man.
We'll see, but I agree with Dante. I'm concerned about the running back position. I don't like none of the running backs the Bears got. I don't like David Montgomery. I don't like Tyreek Cohen. He don't do nothing but run backwards. I have to see the undrafted rookie. I haven't seen him really go yet, so I have to see. But I am not impressed with what the Bears got at running back. I am concerned about that. I thought they should win and got Leonard Fournette. They didn't go do it. That is a weakness. And what scares me about that weakness is Nagy's going to say, oh, that's weak. Now I can throw the ball 77 times a game. So I'm a little concerned about the running back position. There's no question. I'm actually more concerned about the running back than the quarterback. I'm going to be honest with you.
Hey, I agree. Hey, Roach, I agree with you. Dante and Roach, I agree with both of y'all. The running back position, I'm telling you, in the second round of the draft, the Bears had 2 second-round picks. I really wanted them to take Cam Akers from Florida State. He ended up going to the Rams, or J.K. Dobbins from Ohio State. He's playing with the Baltimore Ravens. I think they should have took a running back, because David Montgomery, he got a little injury right now. He might miss week 1. Who's going to be your starting running back? Tariq Cohen, the undrafted free agent? Pierce is just looking pretty bad right there.
All right. So we talked about our concern, but let's get a little excitement in here. Boom. What is the thing that really excites you about the upcoming season for the Chicago Bears?
all right, well, you know what? You might not agree with this because it don't sound like it's exciting, off the top of the head. But what's exciting to me is a reckoning. You know what I mean? A last chapter to this quarterback saga. You know what I mean? Is Mitch going to be good or not? I'm just excited to get it over with. I'm excited to just see the end of what's going on with Mitch. He going to produce or he ain't. And the same thing with the offensive coordinator. It's like, okay, you learned the lesson. Are you going to call plays for your personnel? Or are you going to keep on being stubborn? We're going to learn a lot about Mitch. We're going to learn a lot about Matt Nagy. And basically the general manager with Pace. You're going to see whether he's on in and out. So I'm just excited about the conclusion. Either it's going to be a good story or a bad story, but this final chapter is being written in 2020 when it comes down to Mitch, Nagy, and Ryan Pace. So I'm excited to see the ending of what's up with these guys. It's as simple as that.
I hear you. Well, hopefully if they do good, it won't be the ending of them. So it's either going to be good or bad. Dante, what are you most excited about this Bears season coming up?
Man, you guys know I'm a DB guy, so I'm going to go with the defensive backfield, the secondary. I'm really excited to see Eddie Jackson get back to his old self, get back to his 2018 self. Having the addition of Tayshaun Gibson to play strong safety, to play more down in the box is going to really free up Eddie Jackson like it did in 2018. He's going to be able to roam around and do his thing, not really have to worry about coming up and making so many tackles. That's not really his strength. His strength is in coverage, so and then the other thing with Jalen Johnson, the rookie cornerback, I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. He's got really good size, and he's a lot more athletic than Prince, American Roar. So don't get me wrong, I like Prince a lot. He was more of a cover 2 guy, more of a zone coverage guy, but Jalen, he's more of a man-to-man cover corner. He's going to be able to, I'm not going to say guard the other team's best player because we have Kyle Fuller for that, obviously. But he can hold up on his own, play man-to-man coverage. He's probably about I think he's over 6 feet. I know for sure. So having Kyle Fuller, and then Jalen Johnson, I actually think on our team, our biggest strength and our deepest thing that we have is the secondary. We have, a really good backup strong safety in Deion Bush, who can pretty much be a starter. We got Duke, Shelley, and Buster Screeney. Both of them are going to be pretty much taking the snaps at nickel, switching off between the two. We got McManus, who's pretty much a special teams beast. So just all the way around, I'm really excited about the secondary. Once those outside linebackers and everything are getting to the quarterback, the secondary is going to be coming up with some really big plays. So I'm just excited to see the secondary, get some turnovers and then take it to the house. Take some of those turnovers to the house.
Absolutely. I do. That secondary is very, very strong. No question about it. Ali Wally, what are you most excited about this Bears team coming up this season?
Well, training camp reporters are saying that the Bears' weakest offensive position last year, the tight end position, is now the strength of the offense, okay? You got the Bears have the number 1 rated rookie tight end, Cole Kmet, all right? This guy was a second-round pick for the Bears from Notre Dame. And the guy, some people fear that he may be a one-hit wonder because his sophomore year at Notre Dame, he focused on baseball, but then last year, his junior year, he had a stellar year, came into the draft after that. But the guy, he's 6'6", he has sure hands, he can split out wide and create some mismatches on cornerbacks. And the guy is a tenacious runner after the catch, and he loves to get violent in the run block game. I love that about him watching the film. And so we know Jimmy Graham, he did fall off a little bit last year with the Green Bay Packers, but the 5-time Pro Bowler is still 6'7". And last year in the playoffs, in the 2 playoff games with the Green Bay Packers, he averaged 54 receiving yards per game, 3.5 catches, 15 yards per catch. Hey, after seeing Adam Shaheen and Trey Burton last year for the Bears, I'll take that. I'll take 54 yards, you know what I'm saying, from our tight end, all right? And so maybe the Bears having the worst tight end position in the NFL last year contributed to Mitch Trubisky's fall off from 2018 to 2019. 2018, Mitch looked like he was going to do something, but Trey Burton, he quit on Chicago. Now he's with the Colts. And Adam Shaheen, he didn't work out. We got nothing from the tight end position, okay? Boom, you could have played tight end for the Bears last year. So, anyway, I mean, I just feel like I'm excited for the Bears tight end position. I want to see Cole Kmet and Jimmy Graham do their thing.
Absolutely. I do like with the tight end position. It is going to be much better. I like the tight end mixed in with one of the best receivers in the NFL. That's Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson had a monster season last year, 98 catches, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. So he was fantastic. So him with Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet, that is interesting. But what I'm most excited about is the defense, just overall the defense. Now, the Eddie Goldman, that one hurt right there because of him not playing this year. That hurt, but I'm with Boone. Bilal Nichols is a very good player. He's very capable. He can step in. He's not as good as Goldman, but he can fill in. But with that secondary with Jalen Johnson, the rookie, Kyle Fuller, and Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn, and company, and Akeem Hicks is back. Akeem Hicks is such a huge factor. He clogs up the middle. I mean, he absolutely destroys the run game a lot of times. You talk about a nose tackle that gets 9 sacks. That's incredible. So having him back is really going to make that defense tick. So I'm really excited to see the defense. There's no question about it. So, Dante, what will the Bears' record be, and will they make the playoffs?
Oh, man. Yeah, I've been waiting to get to this question. Man, you know what? I got the Bears finishing 10-6. They're going to finish second in the division to the Vikings. And I think we're actually going to get that 7th spot in the NFC to get that wild card. In no particular order, Seattle, Vikings, Cowboys, Saints, 49ers, Tampa Bay. And then I think we're going to be right there. It's going to be close between us and Green Bay. I think it's actually pretty much going to go down to the wire for that 7th spot with us and Green Bay. I don't really, looking at all the rest of the teams in the NFC, I don't really, think that they will be able to, contest. So I really want to say we'll go 10-6 and we'll get that last spot for the 7th team.
Adi, same question to you. What is going to be the Bears' record, and will they make the playoffs?
Well, you know what? It's crucial that the Bears win their first 3 games, okay? They go to Detroit week 1, then they play the New York Giants at home, then they go to Atlanta. And I don't think any of you guys picked any of those teams to make the playoffs, all right? The Bears got to win those games because the schedule gets harder after that, okay? The Bears have to play against the AFC South. With the Colts really improved their team this offseason. You got to play Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. They got to play the Tennessee Titans that just went to the AFC Championship game. The Bears also have to play the NFC South with Tom Terrific. Just got Leonard Fournette. They're really trying to get it. Gronk and everybody. And the New Orleans Saints. So that's going to be tough. And you got 2 games against Green Bay, 2 games against the Vikings that Dante just picked to win a division. I agree with you. I got the Vikings winning the NFC North. And so it's very crucial that the Bears do that. But despite all of that, despite that kind of tough schedule, I got the Bears at 7-5 before their last 4 games of the season. Okay, and then they had to play the Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson coming to Chicago to get some payback on the Bears for passing on them for Mitch Trubisky. Then they got to go to Minnesota and play them, and the Bears beat them last year in Minnesota because the Vikings rested their starters in Week 17 for the playoffs. Then they play at Jacksonville. That's a win. Then they got to play the Green Bay Packers. I get the Bears losing 3 out of their last 4 games, finishing the season 8-8, and I don't got making the playoffs. I get the 49ers in the playoffs, the Tampa Bay Bucks getting the wild card, and I also have the Green Bay Packers getting the wild card as the Bears are going to miss the playoffs. But here's the bright side, okay? The Bears got some young players. They got Kyle Fuller, Eddie Jackson, Roquan Smith, Khalil Mack, Eddie Goldman coming back next year. All those guys are in their 20s. You also got Danny Trevathan and Robert Quinn are 30. Akeem Hicks is the oldest guy. on for the core defensive players. He's 31 years old. And so I think the Bears, this defense can have a 7-year run like Peanut Tillman, Urlacher, and Lance Briggs had from 2005 to 2012 with Lovie Smith defense. I think this defense can be pretty good for a very long time. That's the bright side. But the problem is the Bears have the worst quarterback history in football, in football. The worst quarterback history. And so I don't know what they're going to do about a free agent, trade, draft. I don't know. Nothing works, but that's why 8-8, not making the playoffs.
8-8. No playoffs for Adi. What about you, Bone? The Bears, what's their record going to be, and how they going to make the playoffs?
Okay, listen, man. I'm disagreeing with Adi because, all right, put it this way. Week 2, they're going to beat the Giants. Week 3, they're going to beat the Falcons. All right, week 6, they're going to beat the Panthers. They're going to beat the Rams after that. Now, when they playing the Texans, they're going to beat the Texans. The Texans on the downturn. They let go of Hopkins. They turn on the coach. They're going to beat the Texans. Then they're going to beat the Jaguars. That's 6 wins right there. All right? Now, I'm saying even if they split with the division, all right? If they split with the division, that means now they're 9-7. They can make the playoffs at 9-7 with 7 games going in. But now that leaves you with the Colts, the Bucks, and the Titans. Now, I got them beating one of those 3 teams, all right? The Colts, the Bucks, and the Titans, I mean, they can beat the Titans. The Titans should fall off. So if they beat one of those 3 teams, they're going to be 10-6. Now, if the Bears is who they is, they can beat 2 out of those 3 teams. And that'd be 11-5. I got the Bears making the playoffs, all right? They can beat Tom Terrific and the Titans, or the Colts and the Titans. It depends on which quarterback fall off. Rivers might be a turnover machine. Tom Terrific might not have an O-line blocking for him. So, you know, and then the Titans should basically fall off. They still got the same old run team that should be exposed by now. The Bears going to go, but I'm going to go in the middle. I'm going to say 10-6. It's going to be one of those games. I got them 10-6, all right? That's splitting with every team in the division. That's giving the Lions a win. I'm being nice, all right? And that's beating the Giants, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Rams, the Houston Texans, and the Jaguars. I got them going 10-6. Making the playoffs.
So Boone and Dante both have the Bears going to the playoffs, and Adi don't. Well, this is what I will say. The last 2 years, the Bears have only lost 3 division games, and it's been all to the Packers. They have owned the Vikings the last 2 seasons. I know, Adi, the one you can argue that they was just sitting players, but the last 3 games before that, they absolutely destroyed Kirk Cousins. Have you seen Kirk Cousins' numbers against the Chicago Bears defense? It is awful. He barely throws 100 yards. I don't even think he's ever thrown a touchdown pass against the Bears defense. So I am not ready to say that the Vikings are just going to be over the Bears. With that being said, I think the Bears do finish 10-6, and I think they do get a wild card position. I think the Vikings are a very tough team. I think the Packers are still going to win the division until somebody knocks off Aaron Rodgers. I know the Vikings had a great draft. They had a lot of draft picks. And the Bears, they've shown we still can't beat the Packers. No matter who's coaching, no matter how much talent we got, we can't beat the Packers. So I think the Packers still win the division, but I think the Bears do get one of the wild card spots, and they do make the playoffs. And now they might not win any games in the playoffs, but they do at least make the playoffs.
Well, I got one question for you guys. All 3 of you guys got the Bears making the playoffs. I don't have the Bears making the playoffs. I got them missing it. So each one of you guys, I want to know how far are they going to go? You got them going one and done or what?
I got one and done.
I say if they riding in the defensive coattails, they one and done. It's really on Matt Nagy as an offensive coordinator. If everything clicking, I mean, it's just too many variables right now to say what they're going to do. If Mitch Trubisky can run Matt Nagy offense and run with his legs, if he becomes the guy that Pace thought he was, an athletic quarterback who can run Nagy offense, they going deep in the playoffs. All right? But if he's just being a cowboy, you know, being a gangster and running the ball despite what Nagy called, or if Nick Foles is our quarterback who's not mobile, then we're going to be one and done.
Time out. Boom, boom. Wait a minute. What is going to happen? You saying all this if stuff, man. What's going to happen?
You got me underneath the gun. I'm going to just say that, look, I'm going to say it. Things are going to work out, man. Like I said, I'm excited about what's going to happen with Mitch and Nagy and his offense, I think it's going to click. I think they are too smart to be dumb and stubborn like they showed last year. It's going to click, all right? We're going deep in the playoffs. I think they're smart guys. They're going deep in the playoffs.
Dante?
Yeah, man, I could see them, getting that wild card spot and winning that first game in the playoffs. But then they're not going to make it to the NFC Championship, I don't think. And the last 4 teams in NFC is just too tough. I mean, the top 4 teams in the NFC is pretty much going to be Saints, Tampa Bay, 49ers, and probably Seattle. And but I do think that we could beat a team like Seattle. Like, Seattle doesn't score a lot of points, and that game could be pretty much a defensive battle. Seattle, Russell Wilson, he can get going, but it's not like a set offense like the Saints or like the Bucs where they just throwing up 30, 40 points. But I do think they can get to the wild card game and win at least one.
The Bears have no chance if they play the Seahawks. They have no chance against the Seahawks, not against Russell Wilson. I don't agree with that. The Bears they have the defense. The Bears have a championship defense. They just do not have the offense, the coaching caller, and the quarterback to win a game in the playoffs. They are good enough to get there, but if they're a wild card team, more than likely they're going to be facing one of those teams with great quarterbacks: Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees. They just do not have the quarterback play to win a game in the playoffs. That's just my opinion.
Now, an unsexy position, they got this former offensive tackle from the Seahawks playing right guard for the Bears. I think if he's as good as what I'm hearing in his preseason, he's going to solidify the O-line, which should open up some running holes, which should be a better pass protection for whatever quarterback back there. It's just being optimistic. You know what I mean? I'm just being optimistic. I'm just saying, positive things.
You talking about Jermaine Ifedi. They got him from the Seahawks to play right guard. He taking Calvin's spot, but they don't have any running backs to run the ball. Okay? David Montgomery, he get hurt, had nobody to run the ball. So the Bears missed the playoffs, but
Montgomery, he'll be back for the Falcons game or the Colts game. We should beat the Lions. We should beat the Giants. Then now we got the Falcons. We got the Colts. He'll be back for one of those games, and then he'll be good to go.
Well, we shall see. We shall see. Adi don't have him making the playoffs at all. Boone and Dante think they can win a playoff game. Boone thinks they're going deep in the playoffs. I think they're one and done. I think they get in the playoffs and they're one and done. So we shall see. You have been watching another quarantine edition of Spectator Sport. I want to thank our special guest, number 7, Dante, and also my main man, Boone the Potter, Adi Wally, the architect. In the meantime, in between time, we out. We